So I was having a conversation with my wife last night, and she told me something really strange that I was like, man, she told me that you have to be careful that your students are not scared of you. And I was like, what? Nobody is scared of me. Like, look at me. I'm just a giant wreck. And, she was right. I was thinking about this, was that people really are scared of me simply because of the position that I actually have. And because I'm a little older, because I'm male, all sorts of different things. And, I was thinking about this. I wonder how many people out there are experiencing that, where they're scared of their professor. And I think that that is a lot of the people that's out there. So if you don't know me, I am Professor David Maslach. I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I create this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. All right. You know, what's an interesting thing is that simply by the role that you're in, people are scared of you, or simply because of some observable characteristics, people are scared of you. I remember, and I still kind of am, being really scared of the police. I remember having very, very vivid reactions from when I was a kid. Some we had some family violence in our family, not within my immediate family, but extended family, and it was not easy to deal with, and it was very traumatizing for me. I remember I was about 3 years old when all of this was going on, and I remember hiding behind the couch. That's what I used to do when I was afraid. I would hide behind the couch, and when the police were there, and I still to this day, I have an ingrained fear of people in uniform, people, particularly males that are in uniform. And, I think about this as, wait a minute, there's nothing that they did. And that goes for me, right? Like, I'm thinking about it. I'm just David, right? Like, I'm just like this kind of goofy, don't have my crap together, messed up in my head. I am just that person. But in the role that you're actually are in, you're somebody else, and you represent something else to somebody else, right? So maybe somebody had a really bad experience with their teacher, and by the time that they are in university, they've already had a really bad experience. I almost guarantee it with a teacher where there was some sort of power differential that was going on, and it feels like you didn't have any sort of power in the circumstance, and you're just like, man, I don't know what to do. And so that carries with you. All of those emotions carry with you. And so I, in this position, in this role, in all my external characteristics, I'm carrying forward. I am taking on all of that emotion, all of that baggage that's happened over the years, and I'm representing those particular individuals. Now, I cannot fix that, right? I can't fix you. I can't fix how you feel about, my people in my role. I can't fix what happened to you in the past. I can only fix myself, and I think. The only thing I could do is just have open conversations and let you know that, hey, wait a minute, all of that stuff, there's two things to remember. Is the first thing is that we're all messed up in the head. We are all crazy in the head. And as you get older, you start seeing this a lot. And you start seeing the second sort of thing is you start seeing these power plays and all of these kind of things is people just like ineffectively very poorly dealing with their emotions of things that have happened to them. And I do this too, right? Like I think about myself in many different circumstances where I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this sort of power play thing. I'm feeling this particular way. I'm feeling like, man, things have happened in the past where I'm like, screw this. And I project that onto somebody else. And it's not their fault, but it's really what's going on with me and inside me. So that's something that you have to really recognize and think about is like, wait a minute, all of this kind of stuff that's going on, these are all people just really not doing well with their emotions, and they're really not sort of coping with reality very well. And you can't fix them, right? But what you can do is when things like that happen to you, and they're going to happen, right? Like you can't fix them because imagine we're all a bunch of 5-year-olds running around, right? And we all are behaving like 5-year-olds. You might look around, you might think everybody is a bunch of adults and stuff. We're all a bunch of 5-year-olds in the kindergarten classroom screaming and clawing and being a giant mess, right? And so what you need to think about is like, I can't fix them. The only thing I could do is fix my interpretation of what's going on. And so using a screen, the easiest thing for me to think about these kind of problems is to think of myself in the third person. I think I've mentioned that a few times on this channel, where I don't view me going through the circumstance. It is me actually viewing like as an outsider what is going on and dealing with the sort of disastrous train wreck stuff that's going on. And so when I see all the stuff, like particularly in popular culture and all of that kind of stuff that's going on, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, these are people that are not really dealing well with their emotions. They are very, very, there's lots of problems that go on, right? Like a lot of psychological problems that they go on, and we carry all this baggage. And if you are dealing with that, right? So first of all, it's very real. I'm not like downplaying that at all. But if these problems are really persistent for you, I'd recommend to go talk to somebody about it, a professional. I've talked to people, a lot of people about, dealing with this and the sort of emotions, because it does carry with you. And I still have, when I mentioned this story of the police showing up, I still have vivid memories in my brain. It pops up in my lizard brain, right? And it still pops up, and it's still part of me. I still have those emotions. I still get anxiety whenever I think about that. So I'd encourage you to, first of all, work on that. Work on the fact that, hey, wait a minute, these people are just people. And then the other thing is to remove yourself from the circumstance or the situation. Think of them as like that they're just a bunch of kids running around. How would you handle kids running around? Well, exactly how I told you. I remove myself from the situation. And so I am like, it's not me that's dealing with this emotional kid that's kind of freaking out. And I'm like, all right, I got to think about myself. How am I going to deal with this? Am I going to run around and deal with this particular situation in my head? And the emotional reaction that you get, like, man, you're a jackass, is different than like, wait a minute, I know they're being a jackass, but let me take a step back. Let me think through this and actually have a meaningful conversation in my head. Is this worthwhile for me to actually pursue this thing? If not, then I'm just going to go on and just say, hey, wait a minute, let's just move on and let's just carry on. So I think if you think about these things in a much more abstract, remove yourself from the situation sort of context, I think you're going to come away with a lot more understanding about what's going on. We're all different. We all have a lot of different personalities. No matter how old you are, it's going to come through. And we need to take a step back and start thinking about how we can be more caring and helpful and actually not let these past things dictate where we're going to go in the future. And if they truly are scary, nuts to them, right? Like that's their problem. It's not your problem. They're dealing with this stuff, right? So move on, carry through. It's only going to be a little bit of time. But if you can have a meaningful conversation with them, make sure that you do that, or a meaningful conversation with yourself and what's actually going on, and deal with that. All right, with that, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care, and have a wonderful day. By the way, what you're seeing right here is I am petting Izzy and Babs. Izzy, you want to say hi? Everybody loves Izzy. She's the sweetest. All right. Hello. All right, see you later. Bye.